Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the conversation. It's Alexia Landa, and we're going to kick off season three with a lot of love, a lot of excitement, a lot of new information, a lot of just abundance, giving, sharing, talking, conversing, having the conversation. If you're here, it's because you want to have conversations about spirituality. And most importantly, you're going to find how spirituality is so connected to our day to day, so connected to who we are as humans, how powerful it is to be a human and how simple it is to be spiritual because we're fractions of light of God. And as co creators from the Creator, we have free will, but at the end of the day, there's also this divinity that guides us, and how simple that is. How we have a foundation filled with tools. We just have all these tools within, and we're constantly activating them, understanding them, polishing them. Why are you back? Why is this tool back? Or which ones do I usually have to use? And why are they so connected to me? Why me? And all those questions are amazing. And understanding the transformation within that perspective, the transformation of I can truly become my authentic self as I become very responsible of my needs, of nurturing myself, of understanding everything that is connected to me and why. And sometimes the why is so simple. Sometimes the why it's not about you, it's about them, and you learn how to really live in a world where collectively we're here to share, we're here to connect, we're here to be one as we are authentic. So, if you're here today, we're going to be talking about love languages. I haven't, since when was the last time I recorded? I think it was December, I believe so. When I stopped recording, it was truly due to needing to nurture my voice. And when I say that, it was almost like understanding even my own love language when it came to sharing what I talk about as a channeler. For those who are new to this space, I will talk about what a channeler is. I am going to talk a little bit about me. I don't think I've ever truly done that. I share here and there. So, love languages will be the topic today. That's the tool we need to start polishing because the world right now is going to really ask us to give love unconditionally, and unconditional love means that we have to be open to learning from teachers in certain ways, and sometimes the way teachers teach us is not the easiest way, or it's not the most pleasant way. And also understanding that sometimes there's nothing to learn, just see that certain people are in cycles, and we have to respect those cycles. We have to respect that everyone is in different cycles, in different places in their lifetime, and different paths and different needs. Everyone has a different need that they need to nurture. And if we live in a society where no one knows how to meet their own needs, where no one really becomes responsible, and they might be playing a role of a victim, a role of a villain, a role of a savior, a hero, whatever role they're playing instead of their own authentic self, then there's going to be an unbalance. And unconditional love is going to really be the way to navigate and connect and almost detach from wanting to control anyone, but truly know how to set boundaries, and is also not become anyone's victim. Understand that if that's the life they want to live, then doesn't mean that we should take it personally and say that because of them we feel a certain way, or because of them now we carry some sort of emotion and we're moving in that energetic motion. But instead understand that unconditional love asks for a lot of respect, that someone gets to have a bad moment. They do, because we're not perfect. They truly get to have a bad moment and live in that bad moment until they're able to see clearly and truly nurture themselves, become responsible of themselves, choose some sort of change in their life. So, my name's Alexia Landa, for those who are new here. I am a channeler. A channeler means that I channel information that comes in a different vibration, rhythm, light, that is usually not heard or felt or seen by others. I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can sense it. So it's connected to all my senses. And this vibration comes in different forms and different languages. So I'm always translating. I'm a translator of a different type of vibration. And this translation comes from a very particular light, which is of unconditional love, and it comes from God. And that light is connected to angels, archangels, ascended masters, any type of vibration that is here to teach us for greater good, for our highest potential, and almost guide us towards a path where it'll be of less resistance, which means that you won't have to learn anything that you already learned. You will understand that control is not the way to go. You will be able to connect to your higher self, your highest vibration, and your co creation. How to be that fraction of light and how to co create yourself. And co creating yourself takes you into this constant movement of connecting, not attracting, not manifesting, not being obsessive about anything, but rather truly understanding faith, truly understanding the balance of being yourself and how that is already perfect. Yes, of course, we always go in constant cycles, like I said, or we have to go through our healing journey. And healing, all it is truly detoxing from what doesn't work for you. It might work for someone else, but it won't work for you. And healing can be past lives, it can be in this lifetime, beliefs, whatever it is that you feel like you felt responsible of and wasn't yours, or trauma or any of that. You understand that it was a moment and it wasn't something you have to carry. And that moment was a lesson. It taught you something. So you kind of picked up a tool that now you get to choose how to use. And the choice is truly yours. And sometimes they're very difficult choices, of course. Those difficult choices usually have a lot to do with forgiving or letting go of some resistance of wanting to blame or wanting to be some sort of victim. So there are topics, of course, that are greater than others, and some that are even very misunderstood, and that even me as a channeler can have a moment of grief understanding those topics because they're huge, and it's like, wait, how can this be that it had to happen, or those type of things. So we also have to remember that being human, being fractions of light of God, doesn't mean we're the whole light. Together we are. So if we unite this unconditional love, then it would, make it easier. But it doesn't mean it's happening right now, so we can work towards it. Why not? Why not? Why not believe that it can happen? Why not believe that being a team would make it easier? Just saying. It would definitely make it easier for all of us. So, healing is that detox. Healing is truly letting go what doesn't work for you, what makes you feel uncomfortable, and understanding that uncomfortable is divine. It had to happen, it had to activate something in you. We're not here to be comfortable, by the way. If you chose to be on earth, probably the biggest disclaimer was uncomfortable. Just know you're going to be very uncomfortable, and in the uncomfortable, you're going to grow and you're going to have these rebirths, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But we can make it very simple. Trust me. It can be simple, it can be fast, it can be. So, it's about taking back that power and not falling into the whole I need to manifest and I need to attract and I need to know the future and I need to be ahead. No, it's the okay, if I'm a co creator, what I have control of are my actions. are my tools, is my foundation. And that's the vibration I'm going to be in. So that's what I'm going to connect to. Because what you connect to is those decisions you make, that it's the next step and the next step and the next step. So it only makes sense to that you start trusting yourself and you start connecting to people that you can trust. So you stop going against who you are and what you are. And that is just, trust me, it's like the most amazing thing ever. That's how I live my life. And I'm not saying I don't have moments where I have to go through a rebirth or I have to anything. Like I said, I had to really go back and say, okay, how am I going to keep using my voice? Not because I didn't know what I wanted to do, not because I didn't know who I am as a channeler. It was because I wanted it to be redefined. And redefined meant that I had traveled the whole year. And I kept traveling. And it was as if I was getting to know this new side of me. And this new side of me was almost the one that didn't really want to be attached to doing things a certain way. And that has always been me. And I understand why. Part of my channeling is kind of letting go of attachments always. I always help people let go of attachments. So there's always this redefining moment. And it's not that I'm a completely different person. I just picked up a very amazing tool, which was discernment, discerning. And it was something I would always do for myself, for others, but I wasn't really doing when it came to sharing online because I wanted to have answers. I always wanted to have answers. I felt very responsible for giving everyone as much as I could. And I always try to share to my clients what's going on and how things are going on my side, not because I think they should know about me. That's not something I really, to me, it's important. Like, you should know who I am and what I go through. It's mostly because I want everyone to understand this is part of being human. So this whole process brought me to the point of saying, okay, I know when I channel, the answers are there, but I also want to be able to explain them in a more physical form. So I've always tried to make my channeling as practical as possible so that everyone can be like, oh, I can use that on my day to day. And I felt like I had to polish that tool. I had to polish discernment. I had to really sit down and say, okay, why am I traveling so much? What am I grabbing from all these places? It just felt very rushed. And I understood that time was telling me that if I'm rushed, it means that my attention has to be somewhere else right now. And it was divine. It was like the best thing I could do. And I really saw how polishing that tool again made me understand that the simplest form of spirituality is the love language. And I had to truly understand my love language again. My love language is communication. My love language is um, letting people know almost why I do things, because I think that it's not about I need to over explain myself. It's about I love intentional work. So if you're barely getting to know me, I want you to know my intention. I want you to know that what I'm showing, what I'm talking about, I live it too. I go through it too. I use the tools too. I'm human too. Obviously, you all know, but you know what I mean. So it was this moment of really understanding all those things and how to express myself. And another part of my love language is action. I like to show. If I say I believe something, then I have to do it. Then I'm lying. It wouldn't make sense. So it was just all these things that I had to discern again and say, okay, am I doing it this way? Am I? So there's always like a checkpoint in life where you're checking your actions, your activity, the way you're expressing is not that you're doubting yourself. It's that you're using that tool of self-awareness and self-consciousness, and truly understanding how your energy is you're giving it. How are you giving this energy and why? So these past few months, it was all about that, and just the message of love language was huge. It was like, yes, the love language, even as everything, as a friend, as with all my family members, with everything. It was like a love language. Yes, I get it. And most importantly, the love language with God, the love language I have with God. I wake up and that's the first thing I think about. Not thing, but energy I think about. God. I'm like, okay, good morning, God. Thank you for another day. And I understood I wasn't really saying that. I wasn't really speaking that truth of me being a channeler that truly believes that the universe is a mirror and the universe was created by a creator. And when we look up into the universe and we see that mirror, the mirror can give us anything because everything exists. But we have to be very wise and understand how we want to use this fraction of light. So those checkpoints is almost like, okay, these are my intentions, these are my goals, this is my love language. And I was almost missing that part of, oh, why am I not really paying attention to my love language? I know what my love language is, but how can I express it better? How can I give it better? It felt like I had more space to give. So I had to like expand and be open to expanding and being open to talking more and sharing more and being Alexia, who is Alexia. So it was this beautiful moment of discerning this channel that I am to speak to all of you. And I'm just so excited to be back. Truly, I've missed it. I am going to be posting in Spanish as well. Wish me luck. I haven't recorded that one. I'm probably going to listen back to this one and not forget everything I talked about. But since I don't take notes, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to touch this point and that point and go through all these things. I also want to flow. So it'll probably be different because divine timing, divine connection, divine everything is whoever has to listen to this will listen to what they need to listen to. So whatever I need to talk about, we'll see. Maybe it's different, and I'll try to translate it. I'll try my best. I'll type it. So yeah, that's what's been happening. That's what's been happening on this side. That's been Alexi's story lately. Any updates would be that now I'm on Substack. That was random. Everyone was telling me, why aren't you doing the forecast? Because I have the OGs who have been on the forecast since like 2 years ago. And the forecast is a space where I always tell people how the energy is looking for the month. I share colors, I share spirit animals, numerology, or sacred geometry. Truly, that's what I call it. So whatever is the HVBs are really giving me, and what I can channel for everyone collectively. So I'm there now. I should be posting a lot more voice notes there this week or this coming week. So that's very exciting. I'm loving it. I hadn't felt the pull to be there until now, and I really listen to what calls me in the moment. I don't just go, it's like, not calling me yet. Okay, I can wait. So I let things truly flow. I let things just be as they are. I connect. So I know when I'm truly connecting versus when I'm trying to forcing things. That's a tool I really love, connection. Another update would be that I'm going to be in New York soon. I'm going to have a workshop March 14th at Bedford Studios, and I'm just so excited. I love giving workshops. because every workshop I don't prepare in the way of having like a whole writing, what I'm going to talk about. I prepare energetically. And when I'm there, the energy that is given to me in the moment, I just start speaking and I start activating the tools within the people. And we go through first like a healing process, a detox, and the HVBs, the guides start showing me what tools I really need to focus on and what tools to deactivate, because we have tools within that have to be deactivated, like anxiety, depression. They can be activated and be teachers, but you can deactivate them and be like, I learned. I learned. You can go now. It's okay. We can make peace now. I nurture you, I give you all the love, all the care, now we're done. So my workshops are very focused on who's there. And divine timing, divine connection is so beautiful because usually the people who end up being there at the same time, they most likely need the same tools. So I'm excited about that. There's still some tickets left. It's very limited. I believe, I don't remember, I'll ask Haley, but I believe we can only have 25 people. So there's very few tickets left. So it's just very exciting. I'm just very excited. Those are all the updates. And now we can jump into love language. My guides are like, Alexia, you're talking a lot. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I get excited. I wanted to talk with all of you for so long and I'm finally here. So, okay, love languages. Let's do this. So, right away, they were like showing me um, how we have to start always with family when it comes to love language, because even if one of the parents weren't there, even if you feel like you don't have a relationship with one of them because you don't understand them, they don't understand you, there's this push and pull. When I mentor people, and the mentoring is based on healing, embodying the healing and connecting to your highest potential, with which is truly activating your channel. I really focus on family first. I want to say that's my specialty because I that's what I love the most. Helping people truly heal their family and embody the power of lineage, the power of genes. That's the true biohack for the physical body. Truly feel empowered to be who you are and where you come from. So, unconditional love has to start with not being a victim of what you've lived, which means unconditional. And that perspective comes from a love language of acceptance. That's the first love language that comes to our lives, acceptance. The moment that you are connected to your mother, we do choose our mothers, we definitely do. It doesn't mean necessarily that you that their free will wouldn't affect you or that their free will shouldn't affect you, because we have to nurture our feelings and our emotions, and emotions are energy in motion, so it's energy around you. So I want everyone to understand that when you're in your mommy's tummy, you are in her energetic motion. So you are in her emotions, not in yours yet. So usually when you're born, the only energy you truly know is that energy in motion. So those are the most common emotions that people move in their whole lifetime. I always ask my clients, what are your top 5 emotions throughout the day? And right away I know that those were the ones mom carried when they carried them, or the ones mom was most connected to their first 7 years of their life. Always. It's like an imprint. And acceptance, the love language of acceptance, means that you become so grateful of those because you understand you needed them. You always have what you need. Always, always. There's no other way to live life. You always, always have what you need, because what you need is given to you to become your authentic self. So I want everyone to think about how we were created with so much love and how we come to experience life and activate our fraction of light. So every tool is this little spark of our fraction of light. And as we start activating them, then our full blown fraction of light is activated. So when we're born, yes, our senses are very sensitive. And our senses being sensitive means many children get to see other vibrations. Their channel is open, pretty much. That's what it means. Their channel is fully open, it's out there. But it doesn't mean that they've activated all the tools. That comes with experience, that comes with life, that comes with everything. Everyone activates different ones depending on their wisdom, and their wisdom has a lot to do with their past lives, with how their authenticity. What fraction of light are you? And purpose. We give things purpose. So everyone here is a fraction of light, and that's their purpose. That fraction of light carries all the love languages, all of them. You might be really good at one, you might like one a bit more. You've recognized that one of them you maybe feel uncomfortable in, but we have all of them within. We can use all of them. There's like no limit, by the way, in anything. But there are boundaries that need to be followed, because then if you think there's no limit in anything and free will exists, then you understand collective. You're like, okay, but we still live in the collective and time and space. So this love language of acceptance will always connect you to gratitude, to blessings in disguise, to divine timing, to understanding. Acceptance means I understand. I always say, don't try to understand what you're not, because then you're asking life to give you who you are in those scenarios, who you are in that situation, who you are in what you're trying to understand. In family, you are supposed to understand. That's the only place where I say, I'm sorry, but you gotta understand, because that's your lineage. Those are your genes. So accepting lineage is such a powerful thing. So let's say that you have a mom that hugs you and just caters you and just wants to hold you. You're a bit more of a love language, or connected more to a love language of, I'd rather just her show me with action. I'd rather her cook me a dinner than hug me. Okay, but let's understand this. You are the one that carries the love language of action. She carries the love language of hugging and just being affectionate. So you both want different things, but you both need different things. So you're both each other's teachers. When you use the love language of acceptance, you say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll learn how to hug. And she'll say, oh, okay, yeah, show me how to cook. Show me those actions. Show me. And then you show each other. So the love language becomes acceptance. You start accepting everything around you so that you can learn. And sometimes, family, you have to accept that they're also teachers of what not to do. I have a lot of clients, I've had a lot of ratings where the guides, the HVBs show me that's just a pattern of the lineage, and they want to keep repeating it because they're really comfortable either being the victim, saying, well, that's how my mom was, why wouldn't I be the same? Blaming, well, that's how my dad was, why do you think I'm like that? Well, let's heal it then. Accept it, surrender, heal. Doesn't mean you have to do the same thing. So the first love language is acceptance. And it starts with family so that you can go out there in the world and when you see something you don't like, you gotta accept. That's how a collective would truly be balanced, understanding that the nucleus, the family, everyone is different for a reason. So that you can learn how to love by accepting, by knowing how to set boundaries, because when you accept, those things stop hurting you and you start understanding that no one is responsible of your emotions, of your feelings. You start learning how to communicate, maybe not assume. I've assumed with my mom many times, and that wasn't fun because I'm a channeler, but my HVBs, my guides, kind of block a lot of things with my mom because they tell me she's your mom. You're She's truly the only one that can tell you no, the only one that can like stop me and make me understand things that I probably don't want to understand. So I've assumed and I had to accept and be like, oh, she did hug me. I just wanted three more. Oh, she was paying attention. She was just respecting that I was a teenager. So she wouldn't ask. Oh, I get it now. So they start accepting. You start accepting the tools. Oh, my father didn't stay well. He was 20. Now I know what it is to be 20. Staying would have been tough. Maybe I would have, but me, not him. And that's okay. You start accepting. You start being very, very connected to falling in love with the truth. And that's the first love language. Now, after that, you have to understand the love language of communication because there's so many ways to communicate, so many ways, not just words, but actions, gestures. Um, I'm going to get into one that people don't usually talk about when it comes to communication, but thoughts. There is such a thing as telepathy. A lot of people tell me, oh my God, Alexa, I'm so intuitive, which you are, by the way. I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm so intuitive. I was thinking of something, I was thinking of someone, and then they called me. And I say, okay, there's a difference between intuitive and telepathy. Telepathy, I want everyone to understand, we're all connected, all connected. It's not an attraction, it's a connection, it's a vibration, it's a sound. Thoughts have sound. So, communication through the mind means that other people will feel what you're thinking. So, it's a love language. So, whatever you think, it's felt. If your senses are very sensitive in the way where your channel is open, you're going to hear them. You just have to be very mindful of not being a judge, of not almost wanting to define someone by their thoughts. In case you're next to someone and you start getting thoughts that aren't yours, don't be like, oh my God, they're so negative. Oh my God, no, I have to be away. And you start judging them. Everyone has different thoughts and feelings, and that's normal, that's human. They're supposed to experience them. Instead, is the respect. The love language of communication also has those thoughts. And that gives us the responsibility to nurture ourselves before connecting to others and thinking wrong of anyone or thinking bad of anyone. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that communicate with ourselves the most. So that's the most important love language. Your thoughts. Because usually, not always, it carries an intention. that sets a mood to whatever connection you're having. You can say one thing, but if you're thinking another one, the words are going to even be felt differently. So communicating with others is very important because not everyone can know how you're feeling. I hear the phrase, well, it's so obvious, or oh my God, no, that's so weird. Who would think that, or who wouldn't think that? Everyone grows up in a very different scenario, a very different household, with a very different way of thinking, with a very different way of everything. And it's meant to be. So when you communicate and you share, if you feel like it's a safe space, if you feel like you can have boundaries, if you feel like you won't be judged, and you share and you start communicating with your people, it will truly make everything better. You cannot assume, you cannot say, well, it's because they are mature. That doesn't take away feelings. Being mature doesn't mean you don't feel. Emotional maturity doesn't mean no one gets mad. No, I don't get mad. Nothing gets me mad. It doesn't work that way. That's not emotional maturity. Emotional maturity means that you are responsible of your emotions, of your energetic motion. So if you know you're having a bad day, you say, maybe I shouldn't socialize today. Or maybe I'll socialize because I know that with the person I'm going with, I'll have an amazing conversation and I'll even feel better. But I'm going with the intention of shifting this and going with the intention of not giving them the responsibility. It's mine. So, emotional maturity, all it is that you keep feeling, and that feeling, you know how to exchange it, and you know how to convert the energetic motion into something else. But it doesn't mean you stop getting mad. It doesn't mean that you'll never have a tantrum. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that you're very conscious and you know when, where, and how, so that you won't be almost giving anyone that responsibility or bringing anyone to that energy that maybe they don't want to be experiencing. So that's one of the most important love language, communication. And I can give 1,000 examples of how. Sometimes even the love language of communication doesn't mean that you always have to be explained why people are doing things. That's not trusting anyone. So it's about knowing the boundaries. When you want to communicate with someone, and let's say they're your partner and they say it once, maybe that's enough. You have to have then the love language of trust, the love language of believing in someone. And if you're not there, if you cannot trust, if you cannot believe, either you have someone who you can be honest with and tell them you're working on it and you're healing that side, which means a detox of patterns, of past memories, of past emotions, of past scenarios you went through, experiences, and truly just picking up the tool that you need, not keeping the whole baggage and carrying it with you, taking it with other people, but rather saying, okay, I'm going through this. I want you to know because I might need a reassurance. But give yourself a time frame. And say, okay, I'll work on this for 3 months. I will truly exchange it for another feeling, another emotion. I will have a checklist of what things make me feel like I do trust and how I trust myself. You start going through the process because change is possible. And if you made the change in yourself, then that means you're picking the right people to trust. Make a list of what do I trust? What is it that I trust? What is it that I see as this is trustworthy? This is loyalty. At the end of the day, truly everyone has a different definition. And trust, all it is you respect my boundaries. So you have to know what your boundaries are. And they are different for everyone. So it's about being very crystal clear with yourself and others. And if you experience something that you never thought you wouldn't like, and it feels disrespectful, so it feels like I don't trust them, be very honest with yourself. Well, maybe I didn't have this conversation, so I didn't even know I didn't like this. Maybe I should communicate it and then trust that it won't happen again. If it happens again, then I leave. But you don't become anyone's victim. You don't say, oh my God, they're so mean, they did it again. They're not to blame. Whatever they're doing, it's their energy, and you're not supposed to be responsible of it. So you let them have it. You let them keep it, and you say, okay, that's not for me. What is mine? Well, I don't like this, so I leave. And you become responsible of you, of nurturing your own needs. And you keep walking in life. So those three love languages are the ones that they were really emphasizing on. Well, four now. Yeah, four. And at the end of the day, the I will be mentioning more, but for today, these are the ones they really want to focus on, which I love that it's February, by the way, because it's like the Valentine's month and it's all about love. I promise I didn't do this on purpose, by the way. But the energy is just showing that there's going to be a lot of shifts, a lot of changes, a lot of change coming in. And you might not agree with everything that everyone is doing, but you can agree to disagree by building a boundary, by understanding your foundation, by paying attention to people's foundation more. Maybe you both have the same foundation, you're just divided by something very external. And that's what's happening a lot right now. Spiritually, there's a lot of people who have very common values and foundation. A foundation is the toolbox, all the tools you use: respect, love languages, being able to discern, being able to set boundaries. Those are tools. The tool of happiness. How do you use happiness? So maybe you know people who have a toolbox, who have a foundation. They might just use it a little bit different, but as long as they understand that everyone has a toolbox, a foundation, and they're not harming others, we shouldn't be this divided. We just shouldn't, because it's not about right or wrong, it's about teamwork. And in a team, there are always going to be differences. And that's what I mean with family, by the way. There's always differences because we're all meant to be different in a family. But we all bring in something, that uniqueness, that authenticity. When it comes to parents, parents have to see that every kid is a fraction of them. Since I was very young, my mom has always said, you are one third of my heart, because it's three of us, three siblings. You are one third of my heart. And since I was very little, my guides would say, you are a fraction of light of God. That was always the phrase. And when my mom started saying, you are one third of my heart, I understood. I saw it very clearly. We are all fractions of what our parents carry within them. And understanding that we reflect different parts of them, and then when you have children, they're going to reflect different parts of you and the whole lineage. It's just an amazing thing to notice. I always tell people, by the way, your past lives is you being your own ancestor. That's all it is. You are your ancestor. And knowing that makes you feel like I shouldn't blame anyone, because then that means all this detox I'm trying to do comes from me. And you become very responsible and you say, okay, how can I nurture this? How can I let this go? I know this is not helping me or anyone. What do I do? What do I exchange it for? And that's also a love language called responsibility. A huge, important love language, responsibility. And you start using it in every action you take, and everything you say, and everything you hear. Responsibility. And responsibility is not heavy. It actually makes life very simple because you don't truly follow rules. You just have a good intention. When you're responsible, there's always a good intention. There's always peace within. Always. So it's not about others, it's not about what people say or see or do or what. It's about you and loving everything and feeling how everything is truly divine and feeling how everything is truly working out when you're connected and you understand that every action you take will have an impact. And that makes you fall in love with yourself truly and fully. You start falling in love with yourself because you understand your own fraction of light and you understand your own authenticity. And when you're out there in the world, all you want to do is take the best out of people. How can I take the best out of them? Because you understand that people falling in love with themselves are only going to give good, are only going to give love, are only going to give blessings. And that would make us all a really good team. Really good team. So the rest of this month is about nurturing everything that you are and want to be, nurturing everything that you need to become responsible of. Make a list. What am I not being responsible of myself? Do the easiest things. Drinking more water, maybe? That's a responsibility. Why are you going to be against what makes your physical body so happy? Your physical body is your team. So, usually, when someone is not connected to love fully, unconditionally, they really ignore their physical body. And by the way, I'm not talking about weight or any of that. I'm just talking about health. What makes your body feel good? We all know what makes it feel good. Well, hydration, being hydrated. Okay, simple. Let's start with the simple. Let's start with the easy. Let's start with something that you can truly just pour a cup of water and you're done. Okay, I love myself. And your team, your physical body, your mind, your feelings, your emotions are going to start saying, oh, we are getting the attention we wanted. Oh, we are getting what we need. We do have what we need. And everything starts shifting. Everything. You start truly being authentically you. And you start asking yourself, why was I so against my team? Who was I picking over my team? Well, maybe I thought that I was, I don't know, someone's victim, so I couldn't do it myself. And you start detaching and you start understanding the beauty of being human, the beauty of having a family, no matter who they are, what they didn't do, whatever it is. You say, oh, I get it. And everything starts making sense. So, yeah, I'll talk to all of you next week. I'll be here speaking again about more about love because that's what they're saying right now. Love. We're going to be focused on love, I guess. And let's see what else comes through. Let's see what else this channel needs to say. And just detach from wanting any type of control. Let your fraction of light have some control. Let yourself feel, let yourself co create. Don't be chasing anything. That doesn't really work because at the end of the day, when you're chasing, you're dividing yourself from the now to the future to the past. No more dividing. Be in the now. Have a goal and work for it, but enjoy the now. That's true wealth. Enjoying what your heart carries is true wealth. And by the way, I like good things. I'm not saying don't have goals, don't have big goals. Spirituality has nothing to do with being mad at anything. Spirituality has nothing to do with being divided. It actually has to do with being connected. So connect. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you. I'm just so grateful for being back. Truly. I'm just grateful. That's what I am. So thank you everyone. Have an amazing rest of your week.